The ones who went before us light the path for those still finding their way. When we talk about recovery, we talk about transformation, but not the kind that's just about staying sober. We're talking about the kind that rebuilds you from the inside out, the kind that turns survival into life, because getting clean isn't the finish line, it's the foundation. What matters is you build on top of it. Honesty when lying is easier, or integrity when no one's watching, accountability when your pride says that you're fine, and service when you finally realize that happiness doesn't come from what you take, but what you give. Welcome back to the Clean Life Cast, where healing becomes a movement. On this podcast, we talk about real recovery, real growth, and what it actually looks like to live a happy, productive life on the other side. I'm your host, Mason Anderson. I'm here with my co-host, Daniel Tapasua, and today we're honored to have a really good friend, mentor, and leader in our community, Bryce Anderson. Bryce is a man in long-term recovery who leads so many people by example and lived experience. He's one of the top dogs at Liberty Treatment and Addiction Recovery, and one of the guys who went before us, showing us what it looks like to not just survive, but to thrive in recovery. He's built a life rooted in purpose, peace, and service, and today we're diving into what that really looks like. So we're super grateful to have you, brother.
No, thank you. It's good to be here.
No, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So getting into it, I just wanted to maybe for the people that don't know, if you want to give a quick rundown of what your position is, what you do, where you're at in your recovery.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I work at Liberty Addiction Recovery. It's just a recovery center that's here in Salt Lake Valley in Bluffdale. Is right now I manage the residential program. I kind of run that. And it's awesome. I kind of started out and just worked up the ranks and started doing that. And it's been awesome. Like that family for me has been a blessing because they've shown me a lot of trust and a lot of love. Like a lot of times when they've wanted me to keep rising up in the ranks, and I'm like, "Are you sure you want to be doing this?" Right? Yeah, and I'm like questioning myself because I'm like, "Oh, I'm so glad you didn't meet me 3.5 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or 4 years ago, or whatever, where I'm like, all right." But the thing I love is that because I lost a lot of trust. I lost a lot of the stuff that I had that was in my familial life, in my professional life, or in whatever, and that went away, along with my self-love, my honesty, my integrity, my accountability, self-love, and then there was nothing to give back. And so those 5 pillars for me are huge, right? And so
Explain those real quick.
Okay, so those are principles that I learned at Wasatch Recovery, right? I now just like we stand on the shoulders of giants. And so I poached those and I'm like, hey, Bryce's 5 pillars of recovery,
That's awesome.
right? Are just honesty, and they build on each other, right?
Yeah.
So you got your honesty, your integrity, your accountability, your self-love, and then give back. And I tell clients all the time, I'm like, I walked into treatment an absolute mess, right? And I really didn't know how messed up and broken I was. Like I had a family that was wanting me to do it. And at first it was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll do this to kind of appease you people.
Yeah.
Right. But trust me, I got it going on. Right. Which is just
figured out.
Yeah. Well, I've got life figured out. Right. But I was persona non grata in my kids' life, ex-wife, family, and the only people that wanted anything to do with me were not any good, either.
Yeah.
So when I actually got to recovery, I was angry and bitter, and I was in straight victim mode, right? And then kind of learning there and through that process of that work in recovery, one of my favorite things is, what quotes is, the miracle that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding.
I love that too.
Right. I love that because I was a perpetual and perennial avoider of whatever, anything difficult, anything hard, anything uncomfortable, anything that sucked, whatever. I was trying to assuage bereavement, chemically and however I could. And I thought it was working out, but it just wasn't. And my life was horrific. So when I got to treatment and it's like, there's a mirror and you start realizing how jacked up you are. My self-worth was an all-time low. There was no self-love. Yeah. And so I was like, I don't know how to begin this process. I legit thought that I had a lot of life figured out. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know a lot. But I was one of those that suffered from terminal uniqueness, intellectualization, where I was like, oh, I got to figure it out. But I didn't know how to love myself. I certainly didn't love myself, which
Yeah.
also projected it then onto others. And if you were someone that did the right thing and was doing the right thing, like in your life, I didn't really want anything to do with you.
That's really weird how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how, like, when you're in your own bubble, in your own world, going through your own things, it's like you don't want anything to do with the people that are actually thriving or feeling successful.
They're doing well. Absolutely. Like misery loves company.
Yeah.
And so I surrounded myself with miserables.
Yeah.
And
To
so,
make you feel comfortable.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I remember thinking, how in the world do I begin this process of self-love? Because that's in treatment, we talk about that, right? Because we all come in so full of shame,
And
right?
hate.
And
I know I
hate
had hate for
and
me.
resentments and bitterness and everything. But that was all towards me. It's like, you know, our our view of the world and other people is just truly a confession of our own character.
Yeah.
Let's say that again.
Like our viewpoint and view of the world and other people is just truly a confession of our own character.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
And
sense.
so I didn't have a lot. I just didn't realize how morally bankrupt and
Yeah.
emotionally bankrupt I was. So when they started talking about self-love, and that's kind of the catalyst and whatever, like I was like, okay, I like the whole step thing, but I need to dummy it down to something that I can just figure out, right? And so how to begin that process, it was just like, okay, honesty. Let's just break it down bare bones and go straight honesty. Because I tell people, like, if you do these 5 things, like, you will never use again.
Yeah.
I was like, you can debate me all you want. I
So
love
far,
this
it's worked
debate,
for me,
right?
and Daniel.
Same.
Where I'm like, honesty, because I had no honesty, like legit. I lied to everybody
Yeah.
Yeah,
about
everybody.
what I was doing, who I was doing this with,
Yeah.
like what I was or was not doing,
I told my
where I
PO the other
was.
day. I was like, back in the day, I would have just lied to you just because I don't even know.
Yeah.
why.
Like for no reason.
For no reason.
But it's because that's the way we lived for a long time.
Yeah.
But going on the part where, okay, you was talking about. Wait, there's 2 things.
Okay.
The first thing is when you talked about the 5 pillars and when you said post it from Wasatch, you kind of gave like this uneasy feeling. Let me tell you something Mark told me, right? So I went in to go put my 2 weeks notice to come over there to Liberty. And Mark said, do you want to stay here? And I was like, of course I want to stay here. I don't want to take what I've learned from Wasatch and go give it to somebody else. And Mark, without even stopping to think, like, it looked like he practiced it. I said, I don't want to take what I learned here and give it to somebody else. And he said, we're not in a competition of saving lives, right? Whatever you learned here, if you can take it and save anybody else's life wherever you go, do it.
And that's
So do that.
And that's super powerful, and I love that you said that. But maybe explain like who Mark is so that people know
Okay,
where this
Mark
came
Richards.
from.
I used to call him Mark Wahlberg because he's the action guy in my life. Like he's the one that took action to be able to put this place together in order for me to get what I needed and to be here. Mark Richards is a great dude. Love that guy. Love that guy
So
so much.
Mark is the owner of Wasatch
Wasatch
Recovery.
Recovery, yeah.
And so like the power in what he said is like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because he's the actual owner of this facility, and he knows that like this is a team effort, and we
Yeah.
all got to be putting in our work and doing our part. And each one of us that can go out and use the tools that we're given, because those were given to us freely. Now we go back and give them free.
Yeah. If you look at it as just a business, he'd want to keep his business, but he basically told me, take whatever you learn from here, and if you can save somebody else's life anywhere you go, do it. The second thing is when you said you didn't realize how bankrupt of emotion or worth you were.
Yeah.
Like, did that part make it harder? Like, I know it did me. Like I went in thinking I was all right, and then sat through some groups and was like, damn, I'm really messed up.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
that make it harder for you to keep going in the process?
Well, I think anytime, like, because I was a perpetual avoider, like anytime that self-reflection, because I think I was really ignorant and delusional in my self-reflection before recovery, because I was just like, I suffer from a lot of thinking errors, which was another revelation. Well, I'm like, okay, which is the minimalization of things and how things really, bad they were. But like, I'm so grateful that I had people there like teaching me stuff. And then it was like me leaning into doing the work and then doing that self-reflection. Yes, it was hard, but it was the most cathartic thing for me because I had to, like, for some reason I had to be humbled. Like, and it, like, I'm my own worst critic, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I had to, I don't trust a lot of people, but when I listen to people and I respect what they're saying and they say things that humble me, like, I used to run from that, and now I embrace it, and I love it, because that's where that growth happens. That
It's like
growth
what
through
you said.
discomfort.
It's like the way you said about like the what you're avoiding is like the
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that really comes down to
Yeah.
it where it's like as soon as you start realizing that like those hard things and the hard experiences are really what you're growing from, it's like you start searching those things out. You search out reasons to be vulnerable or
Yeah.
reasons to like
Yeah.
actually dig deep and like make change inside.
Yeah.
And so so what I wanted this to like kind of gear towards is something that me and Daniel talked about when we were driving last night.
Yeah.
He brought up the like he was actually you explain it about the meeting and the guy that was saying that he was struggling. So what he told me last night is that somebody was at a meeting and was talking
My
about.
memory's shot. My bad.
You're good, brother. No, but he was talking about how he was at a meeting and this guy was talking about how his job sucked and his
Oh,
life
yeah.
sucked. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it was at a CA meeting. Shoot, it was when we were there. We remember we used to go to CA at Rising Ground and it was outside.
Yeah.
This guy shared like a couple weeks in a row, and he was like, "Yep, just got off work, had a terrible day. My job sucks. The people I work with sucks. My life at home sucks. I drive a sucky car, almost swore, a terrible car." And he ended it with, "But I didn't drink."
And so that's
And it started going on, and I was like, man, if my life looked like that, I would go smoke some meth, bro. Like for real. Like I would go out. Like there's no way. The understanding with who I am now and how my life is now, there's no way I would appreciate living in such misery.
Yeah.
Like that would just be a terrible life to live.
So
to live.
with that being said, it's like it got me thinking today after we had that conversation last night. And I started thinking, I'm like, what is it that makes the difference? And so like I'm asking you, like, what is it that makes the difference between somebody that's just surviving in recovery and somebody that actually is thriving and moving forward?
Great question. So along with those 5 pillars, right? I'm a big quote person because quotes resonate with me,
same.
and I love them, right? And because they're impactful to me, and there's things that I can hold on to and like come back and be like, okay, yeah, right. And so one of my favorite quotes that kind of typifies and goes into that is, right, the most important arithmetic that a person can learn is how to calculate the future cost of your current decisions.
That's cool.
For good and bad.
Yeah.
And when I was doing like when I was doing whatever, not being honest, stealing from whoever, whatever, to get whatever, there was no fulfillment there in my life. So of course I'm going to be at an all-time low. And so if you're just going through the motions, of just like, that's just white knuckling it to me. But those 5 pillars like gave me the catalyst. So like that honesty thing is like, well, maybe I've been dishonest in the past, but for today I can be 100% honest. Like I can work on that. And that was a struggle for me. Like I didn't realize how much of an addiction like dishonesty was.
Yeah.
I was so full
Same.
of, bull that it was just like that was kind of my go-to. And I would say stuff and then think about it and be like, why in the world did I just say that?
Lying for no purpose.
For no purpose.
Like, there's
no gain, there's no whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is wrong with you? What, and then, but then that shame would come in. So then I got to the point where I'd be like, hey, I don't know why I just said that, but that wasn't true. And that took a lot of guts, but in doing and like day after day and practicing that honesty and then addressing it at the end of the day, like how'd you do it with your honesty and being honest with myself about it.
Yeah.
Right. Where I'm like, okay, how was it today? Because confidence comes from keeping promises that we make to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that.
And that's really crazy because you say that and like in my life using those pillars, that's what's created confidence in my life. And also it's like healed my soul in a way that like I used to have like this gnawing anxiety all the time in my soul, but through like honesty, integrity. And accountability and then giving back, it's like somehow it's been transforming my insides into like this person that feels sure of myself. I know that like when I'm out there that I'm doing the right things, I'm making the next right decision. I care about people the right ways. And all those things are building me up in a way that's giving me the drive to become who I'm meant to be.
Yeah. When you start practicing those first 3, the honesty, the integrity, and that's doing things when nobody's watching, it's like, dude, my hypocrisy does have limits. So I'm like, if I talk about it and say it, right, then I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't teach this and talk about it and not do it. And then you start doing that right thing and then you hold yourself accountable. but then also you hold others accountable, like for when they're trying to do well too. So you do those first three things, like you can start to begin the process of loving yourself.
Yeah.
So I really, and it took some time for me to get kind of those three where I started feeling like I was progressing. But like even after a day, if it was just, hey, you know what? Today I was 100% honest, right? Maybe yesterday I had some flare ups in traffic. Cool. Whatever. But today I was good, right?
And
Yeah.
it's
Get a little
accountability, like
confidence.
when you can
It's
go
like,
back at the
yeah,
end and say, "Oh, you know what, I maybe messed
yeah,
up here, or I didn't do it all perfect here," or things like that. When it came to me with the integrity piece, it was something as small as like I was in the house and me and Todd had the conversation, and I got all like in my mind about honesty, integrity, accountability. Well, then I was walking up the stairs, dude, and I saw this gum wrapper chilling on the stairs, and I looked down and I was like, you know, and kept
Yeah.
walking. Got like 5 more stairs up, and I was like, like,
Yep.
like I
It's
gotta go back,
integrity.
bro. I
bingo.
can't just let it
That's
go,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
And so
Explain who Todd is
oh yeah,
for
Todd
people that don't
Sylvester
know.
is our life coach over at Wasatch Recovery, who's been a huge influence on all of our lives. Actually,
Yeah,
massive
sure.
amounts of people's lives. And actually, the whole reason that like I wanted to do a podcast or life coaching or anything else. So shout
Yeah.
out Todd.
Yeah, I think he's the catalyst for a lot of people. Like I loved Wasatch. I loved my time at Wasatch. I have nothing but awesome to say about Wasatch. I just don't work there. You know, I've gotten to work at Brighton Recovery and a couple other facilities before I landed, but you know, I'll never say a bad thing about it because I just that place saved my life,
Fun
and
too.
it's given me like happiness, joy back, my family back,
Yeah.
my self-worth back. But that's where those comes from, and those principles were pretty easy because you know, if I'm given 12 steps, like I can absolutely make a disaster out of those 12,
Yeah.
and I can also finagle something, right?
Oh yeah.
But those 5 easy concepts and those 5 pillars, I'm like, okay, well, that's my catalyst, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like
And I can start loving myself. But then if you've got those first 3, pretty easy to start loving yourself because
Yeah.
if nothing else,
And give
you're
back.
honest, integrity. Then you got something to give back,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you don't do those things, like what do you got to give back?
Yeah.
and then
Not a
what
lot.
I learned through like that too is like those are like the beginning stages of core values.
Yeah.
And you start realizing like, okay, so these are actually the things that I'm trying to practice right now are my values. And
Yeah.
if I stay in alignment with those values, my life gets better.
Yeah.
And so then when I started doing that, I started just expanding on values, like the things that I actually want my life to be revolve around. Then it gave me this center that was like so strong that it's like now I have a pillar to stand on, you
Yeah.
know? And now it's like now I know if I'm living out of honesty, out of integrity, out of accountability, out of service, and nothing can shake that because
That's
I know
right.
that's where I go back to every single time.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I do too.
Sorry, I'm just like soaking all this in. I'm just
Yeah.
loving it.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So that's the where, like, you know, that's where the joy comes in, and you're like, okay, now I'm just not white knuckling it because like I'm feeling good about myself. I want other people to kind of feel this, and I tell people this, like clients, this all the time. I'm like every day we set our intentions right for the day, and my intention is always to be a hero.
Yeah.
And it's not some braggadocious statement, right? Because then I talk about the dichotomy and the difference between the two. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a big superhero fan,
Yeah.
love that stuff. But I'm like, okay, the backstory to
Yeah.
both the villain
Let's
and
do
the
it.
superhero is the same, and it's pain, right? But the villain gets hurt, gets wronged, has some tragic event, and takes a look at it and says, "Oh my gosh, that hurt me so bad. I was wronged. That's
Yeah.
unjust. That's whatever it is, right? I've never felt pain like this before." And so he looks at it and says, okay, well, you know, screw the world. I'm going to make everybody else feel this pain and hurt them so that they can feel some of that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Right.
true.
So in a sense, that villain gets used by that pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the catalyst for becoming, right,
Supervillain, right.
a super villain, right? So villain and victim
Yeah.
and
Same.
victim stance is the same thing to me. So villain, victim mode. I spent time in villain mode. I've been the villain. Not cool, right? I've been a victim. When I didn't even know I was a victim. Learning about victim stance and what that meant was so eye-opening for me because I realized, buddy, you're a 6'5",
Yeah.
like 200
Yeah.
pound, right? Like,
200.
like victim.
Yeah.
What?
That hurt though.
That
Yeah.
hurt because
Like-
I'm like, hold up,
Yeah.
right? So
Like,
I'm like,
damn, I was playing victim this whole time.
I was playing victim my whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's no growth in victim because
No.
you're getting used by that pain.
Yeah.
Whereas, right, the same thing happens to the hero. Let's say it's the same exact event, right? The hero looks at it and says, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that was I just got devastated. I just got rocked. My world got rocked.
Yeah.
Like that hurts. That pain is like, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get past this?" But he takes a look at it and says, I don't want anybody else to ever feel that pain.
Yeah.
Because I felt it,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna devote my life to making protecting other people from feeling that same pain. I get it, I know it.
Yeah.
Cool, but I'm gonna protect people.
Yeah.
And if I see people that are hurting, I'm gonna go and pull them out and spend my life doing that. That's hero mode.
Yeah.
Right. So when I tell people, I'm like, make the choice. Like you to get decide how you show up.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a hero today? Or are you going to be a victim? And that's ever present. That's my intentions every morning.
Yeah, and that's really how you build emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Things start moving in the direction of like peace, happiness, joy,
Yeah.
and love. Is like by just the story that we're placing on the situations that we're going through. And you can see that in like family dynamics when you have like, look, me and my little brother, me and Daniel talked about this before, but like my little brother and me went through the same life. Like we lived in the same household, had the same situations happen. And I was a drug addict because I was in pain, and he went and he built a life for himself because he was never going to go there again, you know? And so like, it was just like those same dynamics. It's the story that we told ourselves about what we were going through.
Yep.
He saw me use drugs and thought, I'm never going to use drugs and be like that, you know? And I was like, I need drugs to survive, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, that's cool too.
Yeah.
When you think back on like your early days in recovery, so this is something that like, that I've been playing around with my head lately is like the different, like because like now that I'm further along in my recovery and I'm building things and things are thriving and I'm doing so well, sometimes it's hard for me to go back to that early stage when like it wasn't making sense, like when I couldn't grasp it. So like I should want to know like what was it like for you going through those early stages when it was like not when people were telling you you can thrive, you can be honest and integrity or have integrity, and you're kind of like I just don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They were like foreign concepts to me. And really, like the only thing that kind of got me through it was the people that I was surrounded, by Daniel, Todd, like, because I would look like I'm a people watcher, so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, right, like if Daniel can do this, right, I can do this. Like that's my homie.
He did that for me too.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, yeah. So when we do that, that's what I tell people about like how to give back in early recovery. I'm like, just by showing up, like with all your peccadillos, all your idiosyncrasies, all of your insecurities, all of the things, that you think that you're not struggling with, when you show up day after day, right, as flawed as you are, you not only give others like inspiration around you, but you give them permission to rise with you, and you all rise together.
I love that, bro.
And so that's really what I did is I just put my arms out and I grasped onto the people that were around me and I'm like, hey, let me rise with you. You're showing up. You're showing up. You're showing up. I know you're struggling with stuff. I know you're struggling with doubts, with self-love, whatever. Like, let's get in this together and let's all rise.
I felt like that was the really good thing about when we went to the house. We had a good group
We
that
did.
like there was people that held us accountable. There was people that lifted us up when we were struggling. And I feel like the community, that's where the community aspect gets built and definitely played a big part in my, like I came after Bryce and I followed his footsteps throughout the program. It helped me out a lot. I remember I had a crazy process, and then he suggested that we watch The Shack.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Game
Yeah.
changer.
Game changer for sure. Gave me an understanding of perspective and how important it is to understand what people are going through before you pass judgment on them,
Right.
and makes it to where you don't pass judgment because you don't know what you've been through or what you've been through. Bryce helped me out a lot in my programming for sure. Love this guy.
What's
Yeah.
cool is like when I like it's crazy to think about like that, like the people even before you guys or whatever,
Yeah.
because like without your guys' generation or group, it's like I don't think I'd be here, you know?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you guys or for Dalton or for Gabe, the
Yeah.
people that I could look up to and think like that, if they can do it, I can do it, or that's what I want to be like. It's like I guarantee if I didn't have you in Dalton, I don't think I would have made it. You know, I can't say guarantee, but at the same time, I didn't even know it was possible until I saw you guys, you know?
Yeah.
And so the fact that that's the thing. And then last night sitting at dinner, I started going through my mind, like, there's generations of
Of recovery.
yeah,
you know?
in this
'Cause-
dinner right now, we have a table over here, a table over here, a table over here, and they're all just different generations for
But
people
that's a
coming
big
through.
deal. That's what recovery is.
Yeah.
It's just people helping people, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that really is what it is, because we help, like, those that inspired me and helped me along the way when they didn't even know that they were doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I felt
They were
that
just showing up.
they
like
were
you
just were
said.
showing up,
Yeah.
and they just were working their program and doing what the next right thing,
Yeah.
right? And they don't even know. Like, that's why I'm like, the most important arithmetic you can learn is calculating the future cost of your current decisions. And
Yeah.
when it's the next right thing, that's why we say wake up and do the next right thing.
Yeah.
Like, how to calculate that. If you'd have told me 3 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, working what I'm doing, and like being in charge of a treatment facility and teaching groups and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of 3 years, Bryce is coming up on 3 years in January.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 3 years.
Yeah. And I mean, it goes by real
But-
quick.
But
There's
along
just-
the way, there was a lot of doubt we'd make it this far, huh?
Oh,
It's like,
100%.
there's no way. No.
Yeah.
It's like some of the stuff said in group was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it through today.
Yeah, for
If you
sure.
were to ask
It
one of
feels
the
like-
therapists at Wasatch, like, you know,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Oh, Bryce, oh boy."
Yeah.
Right?
well,
Yeah. There,
yeah.
you know, there's
There was one therapist that every time Bryce walked in, she'd double bird him, like flip him off twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was, but I knew that it came straight from her heart. She
Yeah.
loved me.
Shout out to Ashley.
Shout out.
But
to
that's crazy to think about too, is like like those ones little decisions. Me and my mom were talking about this on the drive the other day, but like one little decision to change your life, like you made a decision to start healing, and then all of a sudden 3 years later, the compound effect and everything is so different. And it's like you could have never dreamed it, because from that standpoint, you were only seeing the next step.
Yeah.
The next step.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like Daniel talked about before, it could be the next step in the wrong direction if you're not making the
Yeah.
next right decision.
That's the crazy thing, is like when you put it like that one little thing, if you really break it down all the way, that one little thing causes a ripple, but every ripple also has two choices, and every other ripple, like the next right step is the really important thing, right? Like, because there's two choices. Even though one little change caused all this, we're missing all the parts we got to choose in order to make it here. Right. We're just looking at one little choice right here, but there's a bunch of choices for sure. Like Bryce made a choice to walk down to sober living and pick up his car and get arrested and be in jail, and then came back.
It's true.
Didn't have to come back. Right.
Yeah.
That's like made one choice to get down there, probably found something in there in jail and came back anyways. But there's another choice to stay. Like, there's so many choices that make it, when you look back at it, it looked like everything lined up from one choice, but really you have to choose the right step.
Consistently taking the
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
step.
consistently.
And then the fact that sometimes you do take the wrong step and then you just autocorrect. You have to just
Yeah.
readjust.
Yeah.
Well, you did take the wrong step.
Yeah,
Go
I
to-
did take the wrong step. I stood up and told a therapist, you know, where to go and what I really thought of her with one finger, and not my proudest moment, right? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm out of here,
Yeah.
right? I'll show you. You won't be blessed with my presence, right? Right? And she's just like, yeah, hey, right back at you. And so I walked down to sober living, like I had missed court when I was in
Yeah.
early. So there was a cop waiting for me, got arrested, went to jail for 6 weeks, and they were like, and I was like, you know, luckily I detoxed properly, like very uncomfortably. I finished the detox there, not as comfortable as Wasatch, but right, I needed that 6 week, you know, humility lesson. And so when I came back, I was a very different person,
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, my tail's in between my legs. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is not the trajectory that I wanted, the jail life and just,
But that's the part that makes, like, because there's always going to be a time we take the wrong step because we only know one step to take. It's either this way or that way, not knowing which one is the right one.
yeah,
The part that makes us who we are is what we do when we do take the wrong step.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the part that really defines our character.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's the beginning of something,
yeah,
there's still something about you that made you choose to come back. Tail between your legs, however you want to put
yeah.
it. There's something about you that made you like, I
Yeah.
really do want this, you know?
Well, I knew I wanted it. when I was in jail, everyone's like, "Oh, it's easy to be clean in jail." Yeah, my cellmate like came in and had like a ball and a half of heroin, and he kept doing it right in front of me, and he kept saying, "Hey, come," and I was like, "Hey," after 4 times of saying no, I was like, "Bro, if you offer that to me one more time, like I'm gonna mop the floor with you. So you either flush it or whatever, because like I only have a few attaboy no's in me. And I'm at 4 right now, and we're reaching our limits." So I was like, "Get that away from me," So I'm like, I came back and I'm like, "Hey, but I stayed clean." And they're like, "Oh, congratulations." I'm like, "Look, it wasn't as easy as you thought."
Yeah, it was actually harder than you think.
Yeah. But I was just like, I had just finished detox. I'm like, I'm not going through that again. Like, that's not where I want my life to go. And it was really in that 6-week period where I was just like, I'm so done.
Well, it's so awesome because that's like the power of choice, and that's like really what it takes. Is like you chose it instead of forcing it.
Yeah.
It's like, and sometimes you had to get forced to get to the point where you choose it. But like I went through the similar situation where it's like once I hit Wasatch, I was just so grateful to be free and not going back to prison and not being in that life. I was just like, you know what, I'll live here forever. If they want me here forever, I'm staying.
Yep.
And it's like because it was such a humbling experience to be given a chance, and I've been given a lot of chances in my life. I'm not going to say that I haven't. It's just I wasn't ready to even react on them.
Yeah.
And then going back on something you said earlier, you said you finally found some joy in your life. What is that? Like how did you find joy? Like, what is it that brought you joy?
So the joy that I find, right? Because there's always things like when I tell people, I'm like, really, happiness is a decision, right?
Yeah.
Because I can make the decision
There's
to
a
be in a
difference
bad
between
mood,
the two.
like all the time. That happiness is kind of that fleeting,
Yeah.
right? Where that joy is like, okay. And my joy comes like in my relationships with my family. My relationship with my kids still isn't where I want it, but it's coming. I taught them to not trust me. I taught them to be skeptical, to, expect the shoe to drop, right? I get that. So there's certain parts, but like anytime that I get to talk to them or see them or spend time with them, like I know that's joy, right? I also find joy in what I do every day and pulling people out of pain. Like that makes me happy. That makes me fulfilled. Like
Purposeful,
we don't, none of us get into this like for the money, however it can be good, but right, we do it because we care about people.
Hero mode.
And straight hero mode. And I find a lot of joy in seeing the lights turn on in people and seeing them, because I tell people my whole job every day, all day, is to just try and get you to see what I see, because when you look in the mirror and when I look at you, we see 2 very different people.
Yeah, which goes back that goes back to a group. I remember we were in I don't know if it was refuge or process, but you were processing and you said the crazy thing about me is I can look at everybody in this room and tell you a couple good things of each of you.
And what I love about you.
And what I love about you. But tell me to turn it inward.
I can't not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool that you can now though.
I can now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is where joy comes
But
from.
that was real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
when until you said that, I didn't understand that I was doing the same thing. Like I could tell you good things about you, but to say the same thing about that to me, no way.
Yeah.
Didn't believe it.
Yeah. No. Oh, if you really knew me.
Yeah. That was
you wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you're able to do all that and find joy and some purpose or fulfillment through your job,
And my joy comes from like smaller things. Like there's nothing materialistic or existential about like where my joy comes from. My joy comes from like my parents trusting me, like my brothers and sisters wanting me to come to dinner at their house and spend time with my nieces and nephews or my kids or my homies. Because I had to give up all my friends.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so, but my new friends that we all kind of have that common ground. Like I find joy in that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel like that's the thing that separates people that are surviving in their recovery versus somebody
living
thriving.
100%.
What do you mean? Say it.
I feel like the finding joy or finding fulfillment by doing the 5 pillars keeps me wanting to be here rather than playing victim mode. I don't want to live like a life that my car sucks. Right now, if my car sucked, I'd be happy that it got me from A to B, right? The perspective of it.
Right.
As long as I'm able to make it work, and if it dies out, I can Uber, right? Instead of saying, my car sucks. Well, do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You still have the power of choice to do something about it or think differently about it. My job sucks. People are hiring. Go find a different job
Yeah.
or find something you like about that job. Find small things to have joy about in your life instead of playing victim mode or villain mode, you know?
Yeah. It's
And
like
I feel like that's what separates, and it's a choice. At the end of the day, it's a choice.
it's like you
You know?
cultivate a strong mindset,
Yeah.
something that feels productive and happy and thriving. And that's
Yeah.
really that's where strength comes from, is the mind. And that's where everything.
Confidence comes from,
Yeah,
right?
that's really
Believing that you
Yeah.
are possible, you are capable of making this, creating a life that you don't ever want to leave. Right?
Yeah.
And
Joy
then-
is waking up in the morning and being excited to wake up and excited to go to
Yeah.
work and excited to see the changes. Like I wake up, like the first thing I do is I hit my knees right in the morning, before I set my intentions, because I need God's help with it. I hit my knees, and the first thing I ask is I say, God, please get into my head before I do.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's
Right.
powerful.
love that.
And then I get and I'm a big believer in prayer. So I've got a list, right?
Yeah. Bryce,
I got a list.
yeah, Bryce used to pray for everybody, and he was like, if you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, some people are like, oh, don't pray for me. I'm like, well, suck it. Like, sorry.
It's happening.
Yes, it's happening, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But I love that because it gets me out of me.
Yeah, I
Right?
love that
Yeah.
too.
So I'm like, God, get in my head before I do.
Like
because
even you talking to your higher power, you still, it's dope. Like just you hearing you talk about it right now, even you talking to God, you still find a way to be of service to other people by
Yeah.
asking for help for
yeah,
them.
I'm like, how can I help this person? How can, like, I know that they're going to do their step one today. Like, how can I help them? How can I support them? Like, what assignment should I give them? Because in my first group,
Yeah.
we go over like values, goals, whatever. And then they always do an assignment, and then they'll read their assignments that, that I give them, which are cool. Declaration statements,
Yeah.
just like gratitude letters, just myriad different assignments. But those are my favorite things. I'm like, help me with what this person's struggling. Help me know like how to reach this person. Help me know like what to say, and how I can let them know that I love them. Right.
Right. And I really love like what you said though about like get in my head before I do or whatever.
Mhm.
Because like really that makes the whole difference of a day is when you wake up and the first thing you do is start stressing or start like thinking,
Yeah.
oh man, I didn't do this yesterday, or I need to do this, and like those type of things are what kind of set off the morning in this way that's like
Yeah, set the tone
anxiety
for
and
the
like,
day.
but
Yeah.
if you can get into a place of peace right from the get, plan out your day inside your mind in a positive way, think of things in a better light. It's like all of a sudden you get done brushing your teeth and getting ready, and you're in this mode where you just feel good, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
love.
remember like I got to a point where, you know how you're saying waking up excited for the day. I remember I got to a point, it was probably like somewhere in my second month up there, that I started getting excited to go to bed because like tomorrow's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I'd go sleep excited and I'd hit my bed and can't go to sleep because it's like, oh, what are we gonna get into
Christmas.
tomorrow? Yeah, it felt like Christmas, bro.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get up and see what we're gonna do for the day, you know? Like
Yeah.
It's awesome.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely somebody I look up to, not just because you're taller, but help me out in so many ways, Bryce. I love you so much,
I
man.
love you too, buddy.
Like, yeah.
We say I'd rather surround myself with 4 quarters, right, than
Yeah,
100
man, 100
pennies.
pennies.
And yeah, like I surround myself with quarters. Like Daniel's been a silver dollar for me,
Silver dollar for me.
and I'm like,
Both of you
yes.
guys.
And so like I am very selective on who.
Yeah. Because we
who
get
I-
to be selective.
Yeah,
now.
because we get to be selective. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, if I hang around with you, like,
Yeah.
like you help me to, be a better person.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that about you, because just by showing up, right?
Yeah.
Never felt judgment, never felt anything besides, hey, encouragement. And,
Well,
and you've seen me at my worst.
Yeah.
Where you're like, why are you saying that, dude? Like,
Yeah.
why are you saying that? What,
Well,
what are you doing? I
the re-
still love you.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Facts. But the reason why you never find judgment from me, because I've been a defendant my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one question, right? Like, did you ever think that your addiction and all this lying or whatever went on in before you got to Wasatch, did you ever think that it would lead you to find purpose?
No,
Right?
no.
Same. But
Yes. Which is awesome.
yeah,
Right. Which is so
Yeah.
cool.
like even getting your job was just to get a job, right? Or
Yeah.
like,
Well, I knew I wanted to help people,
Yeah,
because like when I
same.
came back with the right attitude, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like the lights turned on, and I'm like, wait, this stuff, like probably pretty works. Like, you know, I think it works. Like it's working for me. I'm
Yeah.
seeing it working to like for people around me that I love. I'm like, okay, yeah. Like I can get on board with that. And I know a lot of people that go in treatment because we see it every day. Everyone's like, oh, I want to be a therapist. I want to work in this. And I'm like, great. I don't discourage that at all. Like I'm one of those, right? But the amount of people that actually do it and can stay the course, but I'm like, stay the course. Cause once you see that light turn on in other people and you can kind of help facilitate that and you can be the one, right? Cause I had to lean on people like that believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself and didn't with good reason. And I also couldn't love myself. Didn't, couldn't, wouldn't, whatever. People that loved me unconditionally. And so I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I need to be. Right. That's what I need to do. And that's what I need to be. So I try to be a place where I'm like, I seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because I'm like, if I can just meet you where you're at, like, and get you to help, right? Because I feel like that's one of my superpowers is to find what I love about people. Because I can do it pretty easy. And I'm like, this is what I love about you. And some people are like, well, you just met me. Well, I don't care. Like, this is what I see. And this is like what I see in you that I love.
Yeah.
And cool, right? Like, but I can see that in you. My job is to help you see that.
Yeah.
Right. And look in the mirror. And I tell people all the time, I'm like that, you know, where I'm like, you know, don't spend time trying to be the captain of other people's ships. Just be a lighthouse and the ships will come to you.
That's good.
Oh, that's bars.
That is.
Bryce always drops these dope quotes. My favorite one was about loving your enemy. You on the top? Because I always mess it up.
Yes. Well, because
my favorite.
Yeah, because
like
that
a bunch,
was,
but
that was one of them, which is, you know, God told me to love my enemy and I obeyed and I chose to love myself.
Oh, let's go, bro.
Because like that rings so much in my head because it's like it's like me playing tug of war against me.
Yeah.
And at some point along this journey, I told myself, bro, drop the rope, come help me. And then drop the rope came on the same side. That's when we started moving.
Yep.
Let's go.
Like that's my favorite quote I've heard Bryce say. Like all of them are bars for sure. But that one just was like,
you guys are quote kings, bro.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I learned from the best.
Well, those are just like things that just help me. And I'm like,
they're super powerful. They're like little mantras you can use.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
like
I'm
affirmation type stuff. You know?
Yeah. Someone was asking me the other day because I was talking about, hey, I want you to do a credo. That's one of the assignments I give them, like the declaration statement, like a credo. Hey, like, what do you stand for? Right. And I've got mine written up where they can read. Yeah. and so they were saying, okay, Bryce, like just come up with a credo, like just like come up with one. And I was like, okay, yeah, I got you. You know, and I said, if I were to just change it and tweak it, my credo for today, which I thought was great, is I believe in the sun even when it's not shining. I believe in love even though I'm alone. And I believe in God even when he is silent. I'll lose faith.
Let's
go.
Bro. That's
that
awesome.
was dope.
Right?
And that's super powerful if like you break that down.
You break that down. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Because I am alone. Right?
Yeah.
I still believe in love.
And that's what brings love.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you have to feel the love before it shows up in your life, and you have to be able to feel the peace before it shows up in your life. And then when you're doing things prior to them showing up, then that's what it actually attracts them to.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome.
If any of you out there make a shirt with Bryce's credo, you better.
We can make a shirt right now.
I heard it somewhere, so you know, I can't take credit for really anything.
Well, I heard it from you.
There we go.
But that's like what Daniel said about like if you think that what I'm doing is dope, then you got to thank all the people that have.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like there's so many. Like I started saying I'm self-made, but inspired by many.
Yeah,
like it's so true.
Yeah, like I going back to the power of choice. I took what people had to say. So like, yeah, I made me, had a lot of help, but inspired by a lot of people.
And there's not a single person in this world that didn't take something from somewhere and reuse it
and
make it theirs. That's the point of being human is we got to
internalize it
and then like, bring it back out.
I know you made up this quote, but I feel like you made it for me, buddy.
Yeah. That feels personal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm like that. Why didn't that just hit me like a ton of bricks? Like God told me to love my enemy.
So
I obeyed.
Yeah.
And I chose to love myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's some power.
That's my favorite one.
Well, I'm super grateful, you guys. Like this is really what this Clean Life Cast is about. Is like conversations like these, like real stories, real experiences in real life, and I'm super grateful that like you came through, bro. Like this was a powerful experience, and helping people see like what it looks like to thrive after recovery, what really thrive instead of just being like sober or clean. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that makes a huge difference. And
Yeah.
so to everybody listening, remember the recovery isn't the ceiling, it's the floor. Keep showing up, keep growing, and keep being part of the solution, because healing isn't just personal, it's a movement.
It definitely is a movement. Shout out to all the Liberty homies. Every time I go over there, they always make me feel at home.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm about to get some volleyball in with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We never shy away from that competition.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, guys. If you guys like the episode, please subscribe, follow Clean Life. We're gonna start sharing from YouTube a lot, so like if you guys can check it out on YouTube. Something that I want to point out, I don't need to do this, but the beginning intro is gonna be a little different because we ran into some issues, but it's gonna be lit anyway. So but if you guys could just like and subscribe and share it, write comments, it helps it reach more people and keep this movement alive. So thank you guys. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it,
That
Jim.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super grateful.
Love you, brother.
Love you.